Following the incident, the state government directed report complaints. Okay, but we all know that this does not work. Uh, for social media, 1 to 2 days of noise happens, and then you see judges being promoted. What all injustice is not being served. You know all those things. You won't have any higher pursuits in life. You don't want to look at women as people, as intellectual beings, as someone who can just contribute a lot of good things through their own unique perspectives, and you can say just view of life, bent of mind towards life. Okay, back with another reaction video. So, one of my subscribers had shared it with me. Let me share my screen. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, you might be able to see it. Now, let me.
Look, Indian tourists are disturbing foreigners. These Indian tourists are all disturbing for foreigners. Look. क्या हो गया? मैं वीडियो निकाल रहा हूँ, तेरा थोड़ा निकाल रहा हूँ। मेरा कौन निकाल रहा है? सनसेट का निकाल रहा हूँ। तेरा कुछ है? क्यों निकाल? क्यों निकाल? तू कौन है? क्यों निकाल? मेरा है मेरा कैमरा, मैं क्यों निकाल? मेरा वीडियो लगाते हैं, मैं मार दूंगा। मेरे को मारेगा? हाँ, मारेगा कि मेरे को? ये देख मारेगा मेरे को, ये देख मारेगा। मारेगा, देख 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 कहाँ से आया? हाँ वही तो बिंगटाघर बिंगटाघर देखो टाइट है, देख देख टाइट है देख, देखो देखो टाइट है।
Yeah, I think, and then. Okay, let me stop it. So, group of men forced two foreign women to pose for photographs in Goa, despite the woman showing reluctance. Yeah, like she was leaving, and anyone wouldn't accept that someone is intruding in their private space. Following the incident, the state government directed report complaints. Okay, but we all know that this does not work. Uh, for social media, 1 to 2 days of noise happens, and then you see judges being promoted. What all injustice is not being served. You know all those things. Reason why people, yeah, that's true. Even tell me how he got arrested. To the person who made this video is a man. The people, kudos. Okay, yeah, I think people can just express their confrontation just in the comment section. Yeah, I wish इनके घर वाले video, yeah, like I wish they. Hmm. Okay, so yeah, let me just stop sharing my screen. Okay. So see, the problem is a lot deeper because now when a lot of feminists, sometimes even cringy and unjust feminists, you can say, talk about this whole issue of patriarchy being this thing where women are subjugated, that kind of is being reflected through their psyche, because see, the people who are doing this right now, we need to understand the cultural context with which they're coming from and what we can do, let's as individuals, on a very practical level, to just stand strong against such tendencies, either within ourselves or outside us. So first of all, please understand that when you are doing such things, the soft power which we should command, let's say, be it from any culture across any country, it just loses. Right now, you see a lot of anti-Indian movements, anti-Indian hate is predominantly because of such bizarre things happening, and a lot of other things, which of course I'll talk. But this video would just focus from this whole sexual, this whole patriarchal thing. So first of all, I think the root reason why this comes is excessive consumption of cron, or you understand it, Western medias. especially this movie music. They're very expressive in their approach, and when women are also kind of working in such medias, they're just open on their scenes and choices. But probably Indian men have consumed a lot of porn, and then you see these kind of taking root in their psyche, that they'll see people with let's say any person for that matter, any white skinned person or a foreigner for that matter, from this lens, thinking they're just tools for sexual acts. Some men have this fantasy that whatever they're seeing on screen, these foreign women would also inherently would do those same things, and everyone wants to just kind of get a shot at it. So you see how pathetic it is that when one is kind of unable to control their own lust. Let's say if some other national did it with your own mothers, your sisters, how would you then feel? You'll start fights and all of that. So this is where the dualistic hypocritical standard kind of comes into picture. The second is this I don't know, a conqueror mindset which man has, that I just want to fulfill my ego. I want to show off among my 10 idiot friends that I had so and so foreigner, I had dash sex and all of those things with him. Look at me, how much of an alpha I am, and all that bullshit that keeps on kind of plunging in the normal, in the normal today language. And I think a deeper reason for that is probably we claim to be very spiritual and all of that, but we are at the root blatant hypocrites, because in our culture, see a lot of these uncles and all of that, they just view women as some people that are inferior to them, so they like subordinating women, like making them feel that they are like very subpar to them. And what this does, like this whole cultural learning, it kind of just spills over, and then they just start treating like the opposite gender with a similar ends. Rigid, you can say rigid gender norms. Women should just be very meek, do not take too much space in the public space. He should protect family honor and all of that. So these are all just these beliefs, like all our ancestral beliefs are living through these two men. And then there's also, I think, a lot of repression around sexual things, not open talks around certain things, wherein you just want to objectify people into tools of sex. Like you won't have any higher pursuits in life. You don't want to look at women as people, as intellectual beings, as someone who can just contribute a lot of good things through their own unique perspectives, and you can say just view of life, bent of mind towards life. So if you see such people around you, just question them then and there. Don't value hollow relationships, because such people, they just ruin everyone's name. They just make a mockery of a beautiful Indian culture, which has a lot to offer to the world and a lot to offer to one own being as well. But if one is so, you can say, so overpowered by his own lustful thoughts, and even when you see mean jokes like those Russian jokes which kind of keep circulating in a lot of men, quote unquote, alpha men communities, just stop them then and there and just ask questions that why is it? Don't you see life other than lust? Like, are you so much of a slave to your lust that there are just no higher pursuits in life? There's not much positive things to contribute. See, till a certain age, let's say if you're in college till 22, 23, it's still understandable because your brain is being developed. You're just in that whole college phase. You're kind of getting out. But after a point, life demands maturity and the will to just kind of exceed these bullshit tendencies that exist within you, because creating a country or creating a space where everyone is safe and everyone can just express themselves for who they are is very important. I recently remember I was having a conversation with one of my friends. So she had stayed sometime on the outside of India and sometimes inside India. So there's a very beautiful insight that when she was in India, probably not a lot of things bothered her, like that whole stare which guys do generally. When she went out, she understood that how psychotic it was back here in India, wherein people are just viewing you like a tool to fulfill their own sexual needs and things like that. Now, when she came back, she feels this massive sense of anxiety that someone can attack her or do a number of things on her. And again, I felt very ashamed that where have we lost when we claim to be such spiritual giants and all of that? Where have we lost as people? Then I think the answer came that probably just basing ourselves on the wrong center is the problem. because no one, let's say if some other culture, or let's say if some other person views your own sisters, mothers with such lenses, how do you feel? I'm sure a lot of you might have had experiences wherein your own sisters and mothers might have had incidents of public groping and all of that, right? How traumatized and hurtful it is. So, and like, if these people in this specific reel have come to Goa, probably as tourists, they have some earning capacity. They might be in the corporate sector, whatever their scene is. What's the use of such money if you're just living off on your basal tendencies and then not having the spine, let's say when someone is confronting you for your actions, not having the spine to accept that okay, I did a cheap animalistic thing. Let me just take accountability for it, apologize. Instead, I'll just fight with the person who's showing me the truth. Like this whole egoistic thing, not attacking us in whatever way we are. We are just right the way we are, and all of that attitude. So just fight vehemently in certain situations where you feel it's important. And at least in smaller, closer groups, smaller tendencies, if such jokes are being particularly ruin the party, ruin the fun. But all these things just tell you the subtle you can say cultural things that are kind of being prevalent. So I think those were my 2 cents. Let me know what you feel about this video, and until then also write how much work you have done, what limitations have you broken. Until then, this is Devishish Pindra from Debu Ki Dastak signing off. Cheers, take care.